love, again, is a choice. It's not I'm tripping, falling with no safety net. I just fell into love, but I am intentionally choosing to love this person. Welcome, viewer, to Iron Sharpens Iron, where we give you nothing but encouraging truth for you and your neighbor Erica to stay sharp out there. This video, we're gonna try to stay on track. Sorry about the last one. We were everywhere. Holy Spirit, activate. And we want to stay on course this time with, just talking more about intentionally dating each other. What did that look like practically? Because I know I am someone who, people give me advice, I learn things, but I'm always like, well, what does that look like? One of those things with intentionally dating, we made sure that we, of course, didn't cross any boundaries. We made sure we both were on the same page, reading the same story, looking at the same paragraph, sounding out the same line. Like, we were just in sync as much as possible. We meet all the way back in November of 2020. We get to 2021 of February. I finally asked her to be my lady. A few weeks, months after that, we're really starting to plan to be married. That's how serious we were. And I think that was another like big nugget where we both, another big like confirmation that we both were on the same page, was that we both were like, all right, let's get married. It was a little bit back and forth as far as like, well, when, maybe I should propose now, maybe propose later, but because the way our life was set up, I'm picking orders, finna move to another state. At the time, there was a job opportunity for her in another state, so we were like, well, do we want to propose now? Do we want to get married now?
Are we doing long distance?
Yeah.
And to the world, it looked like we were moving at rapid pace. It was, for me, hard to seek or get approval from people who didn't understand where we were coming from, or the Lord, or really any of that. Because in hindsight, we got engaged within 6 months of knowing each other, roughly estimate.
July is what? No, it was a little bit longer.
A couple months. It wasn't a year, that's for sure.
It was less than a year.
And most people are like, you've only known each other pandemic. Like, a lot of my family had never even met him. Like, he met my uncle, who I grew up with as like a brother.
Yeah, it was the day
The day we got engaged, he met my uncle, and he was literally like my brother growing up, because we're only 11 years apart. So it's like, it was, people thought we were nuts.
Yeah.
But it's just doing things with the Lord. And I'm sure I'm rambling, getting off topic, but like my church family, who was so in tune with, from when we met to up to the proposal, they were like in the loop, and they understood more of where we were coming from, and for them, gradual progression. It wasn't like a snap, like they saw everything. And I was, part of this thing called life group, where we literally talk about life. And I was very open with everyone from the beginning, and because they weren't freaking out and like, oh, this is too fast. And I guess it brought a sense of like calm, like I am doing things right. I think as long as you're following God and not your heart, or what people think like love is, like.
When did you know that you loved me?
When did I know? We were actually talking about like, how do you know that you love someone? And I remember we had talking before about how like love is a choice. It's not a feeling. It's not feeling literally, just deep down, I never felt like this about anyone before. Because love can come and go if you're basing it off of a feeling.
Yeah, we don't do fickle feelings.
People get divorced all the time or break up all the time because they fell out of love with each other. That's like the number one thing people say. So we were talking about how love is a choice, and not only like the way I was relating it, like, I love you if I would donate my kidney to you, or a kidney, right? A kidney, you have 2 kidneys? That's the one that people donate, right? I don't remember. So I'm like, that's how I know I love you, like if I would donate my kidney to you. So then we were joking like back and forth of like, would you donate a kidney to me? I guess I had known maybe like a little before that I had loved you, but I wasn't gonna be the first one to say it, that's for sure. But literally, when we were close enough that I was like, I would, if he was dying and needed a kidney, like I would give it to him. That's how.
Give it to him. He can have it.
That's That's, I guess, in short, how I knew. That's when I like chose, like, okay, I love him.
We both firmly believe that love, again, is a choice. It's not a, oh, I'm tripping, falling with no safety net. I just fell into love, but it's, I am intentionally choosing to love this person. And also from a Christian worldview, a Christ-like perspective, we know that God, the love that God has for us is the agape love. That's the unconditional, no matter what you do, what you didn't do, no matter how long, like it doesn't run out type of love. And through our, what's the thing you do? Premarital counseling.
Yeah, that was also important for us to do.
Through that process, our pastor was reinforcing that idea, reminding us like, hey, if this isn't the type of love y'all got, then what y'all doing? Like, because everything else, like the world, oh yeah, I love you, then I fell out of love with you 4 years later. That's not what we wanted. We wanted to make sure, hey, I'm choosing to have unconditional agape love for this person.
And I'm also glad about like that our pastor is, he's a pretty straight up kind of guy, that it was like, if we go do premarital counseling and it doesn't sound right, doesn't look right, I'm not like, I won't be your pastor. You could go get married, but I'm not gonna be the one to marry you, kind of thing. So
definitely,
yeah, it was just, that was very important.
The premarital counseling, I want to say, was a really big push in the right direction for us as well, because we both had talked about it when we were dating each other earlier on. It's like, oh, well, would you want to do premarital counseling and stuff like that? What's your thoughts on counseling in general? We know that in the chocolate community, a lot of people don't normally like to go to therapy, counseling. And then if you add, you know, Christian worldview in there as well, it's like, well, I just need Jesus. I don't necessarily need, you know, this human,
third-party person,
you know, for them to tell me anything. It's good to go to counseling so that you can work out things that already happened and why you did things, and where you are mentally and stuff like that, healing, so that when you get into other relationships, like, you know how to handle them better. Because through our premarital counseling process, we were learning, well, a lot of the questions that were being asked was more deep questions that sometimes we may have shied away from asking each other, as it was just me and her. But then it's like, dang, that's getting personal now. That
It was like there should be no secrets, no nothing that you don't know about each other. And even like finances, it was like, open up your bank account apps and show each other. Like, it was very like, you're gonna get to know each other like before you get married.
Like, we were intimate in that level of just really knowing who this person is, who I'm getting involved with. Not just, you know, seeing somebody, oh, I like their profile, oh, we went on some dates, oh, they're cool, I asked them out, oh, we're a couple, now I propose, we get married, you know, and then 3 years later I find out, what? You don't believe that Jesus is Lord?
What?
Whoops.
You have $40,000 in student debt?
The 5 love languages. I started reading this book. I'm looking at it right now on the shelf. I started reading this book. Let me grab those. I started reading this book. I want to say, it says 5 languages for men. Okay, yeah, Gary Chapman. Really good stuff. I started reading this book. I think I've said that 7 times. I'll say it one more time. I've started reading this book about maybe 3 months into.
Because I brought it up to you. Did you know about the love languages before? I asked you maybe what your love languages were, and maybe you didn't know.
I didn't know what it was.
So I had just sent him the test, like the online test. I don't know if it's Gary Chapman's website or whatever, but and I was just like, what is it? So that way you know how to love each other too, because it's different for everybody, and if you don't receive love the same way, you gotta make sure you're, I don't know, able.
You're knowledgeable, that you understand how to communicate love to your partner. Because as we're doing it, it turns out actually our number one both is quality time. But if hers is quality time and mine is gifts giving, she's gonna expect or want to spend a lot of time together, and that shows her that, hey, she's being loved. He spends time with me. But if I'm like, why you want to spend time? I just want you to buy me gifts. Like,
That's how I know you love me. Buy me things.
Yeah, and not necessarily always just materialistic, but just thoughtful gifts, and like, hey, here's this note, me telling you I appreciate you, stuff like that. So just the love language, it changed my perspective. Once I read that book, I kind of like on hyperdrive. I ain't even gonna lie, because I was like, ooh, all right, I'm understanding this. And then I knew how to pursue her even more, because once I was understanding these are her love languages, it's quality time and it's acts of service. So then I know, okay, me taking out the trash, she jokes about it, but she says that's like attractive to her. So it's like, okay, me taking out her trash, even when we were still dating, we weren't married, I would come over her house, I see her trash is full, let me take the trash out. Because again, I know this is how she receives love. This is something, once I do it to her, it's like, oh, he does love me. He took out my trash. Oh, he did wash dishes. Or he did cook for me. So it's not always just, surface level things that people may think is love. So reading that book changed everything for me. Just the way that I see her, the way I pursue her. Even to this day, I'm still thinking, all right, did we spend quality time this week? Did I show her in acts of service as well that I love her? And if I don't, then I'm like, all right, let me make sure I get back on my P's and Q's.
The importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded people during your dating process is also very important. If you can. I know not everyone has that like support system, but maybe you find it online. Maybe it's us for you. Having people that you can relate to, and that if you're seeking advice, or not even just advice, just to hang out with people that are like in the same
boat.
Yeah, it just makes life so much better. And for us, we were very blessed to have a couple in our church that had gotten married like a few months before we got engaged. So we got to hang out with them a lot. To this day, even though we're in a whole nother state, we're still really close to them. And just having that, I don't know, just support system, people you can relate to.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, the whole premise of this channel, just making each other better.
When you have someone that's like-minded, of the same, belief system, supporting you, they also can help confirm things that you kind of already know. So in the last video, we both talked about our confirmations, things that happen on your end and on my end, for me to know, all right, this is God. And both of our confirmations came from other people that were believers and followers of Christ. So if you really think about it, her getting her, you know what, this is God, confirming that I should be with him. It came from someone else who was of the faith. And same thing with me. And I also had a brother that was continuously telling me, dude, what are you waiting for? Well, like, just go ahead and be with her. Like, well, why are you not asking her out? And then after I ask her out, why y'all ain't engaged? Why y'all not married? So it's, again, God can use other people to, again, confirm something that you already know. Because sometimes when it's like, I guess, too good to be true, you're like, should I?
Yeah.
It can't be this. Like, no.
Yeah.
Something's got to be wrong. This can't be it. So you can be a little reluctant to actually pursue it, to actually do it and go for it. But then when you have those people, like, that know the same thing that you know, they believe in God, and they're like, oh man, like, I think God is telling you to do this.
Yeah. And I remember too, when we were like still pursuing each other, courting each other, I had brought Trey to church. And I remember introducing him to everyone as my friend. And it's funny because that couple that we mentioned earlier, me and him had done some pre-church group activities. I remember Trey had walked out of the room to go to the restroom or something, and he was like, he looked at me and he was like, that ain't no friend. I was like, what? Like, it's just how the Lord, I don't know, he just works. Even in that sly like joke, I know he was just trying to be funny. It was like it's almost like he already knew too that something was a brewing.
Another thing I want to talk about, viewer, is when you are pursuing somebody for marriage, hey, I'm dating them intentionally to get married, and you want to do it obviously in the Lord's eyes and his ways, you want his blessing. Good key things to think about and do actually is practicing things that you would do in the marriage and seeing how that, not sex, come on, whoops, that's not what.
Not living with each other.
Not that one either. But praying together. especially if you are a man. If you are the man, you're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the priest. You're supposed to be the protector of the home. So if you're not able to lead her in prayer, if you're not able to, you know, lead conversations, lead situations to where she is comfortable saying, okay, you know what, I can follow him. Like, I'm okay with submitting under his authority when we get to that point of being married, because I see he's showing me some fruits. Look at the fruits. He's showing me fruits that would be beneficial for me. Bible plans together, little Bible studies, things like that. Make sure you're incorporating God in your relationship. It's not always, oh, we just watch Netflix shows all day. Oh, yeah, we just went to a restaurant every Friday. Oh, yeah, we just, you know, gazing into each other's eyes and laughed and talked about compliments. Yeah. It's how we implementing God every day. I remember it was something that made her nervous the first time, like the first month or so we were talking, but I would ask her questions about her faith and like why she believes what she believes, and just like, oh, do you have a favorite verse, or, you know, things like that, or why is that your favorite verse? Why does it speak to you? And is the man willing to lead? Is the woman willing to let him lead? If you're trying to lead somebody that wouldn't lead too, I don't know where y'all gonna go. Well, viewer, we pray you learned something and that this message helped you, that this testimony was beneficial to your life. If you were sharpened by this, be sure to go to the comment section. Tell us about it. If you have questions, maybe something else you would like to hear about our testimony, something about our life. If you need prayer for something, you can do that as well. Just pray, hey, what I'm going through, XYZ struggle. I need help in this area. How did you guys get to this point? When did you know this, that, so that we can help pray for you. We can do another video talking about our life. If this is something that you are, again, benefiting from, this is blessing you. And as always, we're too blessed to be stressed. Stay blessed by the best. Don't forget to pray for the rest. And until next time.